Hi, it's James Harrison. I'm back with Sunday Stories. Decided to come outside today. It's so nice out. I wanted to talk about another offshoot from the high school band story, and this is about the McDonald's All-American High School Band. When I was a junior, my band director, Joe Sills, nominated me to be in the McDonald's All-American Band, and I was very fortunate to be selected to that. And it was, I think it's considered the 1978-79 band because you actually go to New York and do the Macy's parade and the Carnegie Hall concert, and then the Tournament of Roses is the New Year's trip. So I went in 1978 to New York. So anyway, to get to that point, I was very active in all kinds of honor groups like the All District Band and All State and Quad State and Solo and Ensemble festivals, and basically everything I could participate in I tried to do. And I think that that's something that probably everybody who was ever a member of McDonald's All-American Band did. Very active. So anyway, it was a great experience. So basically I grew up in a small town in Murray, Kentucky, which I've said in my other stories, and I can remember during lunch, sometimes we would go outside after eating and just hang out by the band room. And one day, a guy who had been in the band the previous year, or a couple years before actually, named David Jewell, had been in there in the school talking to the band directors for some reason, came out the door and he said, "Hey man, congratulations." And I said, "For what?" And he goes, "Oh, anyway, congratulations." I'm like, I had no idea what he was talking about. Well, band for us was the last period of the day, and then lo and behold, later that day when we got to band, and it was marching season. It was October or maybe September, October, I think. We got to band, and Ruth Eversmeyer, one of my best friends, Ken Eversmeyer, his mother worked for McDonald's as like a public relations person of some kind or whatnot, and she was at the band rehearsal, but it wasn't uncommon to see her because she was such a very active band parent as well. And they stopped the rehearsal and they made a presentation, and they gave me this framed thing, and it said certificate of nomination to the McDonald's. And I thought, okay, I got nominated. And then it clicked, maybe that's what David Jewell had seen or something. Well, anyway, and then they also said, and you've been selected, you will be making the trip. So it had been a lifelong ambition of mine to do something like that, so I was very fortunate that that worked out. So anyway, I got to go to New York, and through Ruth Eversmeyer, she arranged for this thing called the Big Mac bus to come and pick me up because Murray didn't have an airport that would, take major flights. So they came and picked me up and took me to Paducah, Kentucky to catch a flight, and then I can't remember. I think it went to Chicago and then Chicago to New York, something like that. And of course, I hadn't really done any major traveling like that I remembered. I did some traveling as a little kid, but anyway. So anyway, I got to ride this Big Mac bus, which is like a rock and roll tour bus. It had everything decked out. My mom, my sister went along for the ride, and I believe Ruth Eversmeyer went along for the ride too, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if anybody else went, but I've got some pictures of it. It was a great experience. And anyway, I got to New York, and they had everything arranged. They had sent you money for a cab and everything in advance. They told you, here's the address you're going. I got in this cab from, I think I had landed at LaGuardia Airport. I got in this cab, and I had never seen traffic or anything like this before. I was just staring out the windows like a typical tourist and whatnot. They took me to the hotel. I walked in. They actually had an area set aside for McDonald's All-American Band people to check in, and it was some kind of Hilton, I believe, that was right down. Seemed like when you came out of the hotel, if you walked what we used to call kitty corner across the street, if you went across the street one way, then the next way, Carnegie Hall was right there, the back entrance of Carnegie Hall. So anyway, I checked in. I wasn't in my room 2 minutes, and the phone rang. And I picked it up, and James Harrison, yes. And they said, "Can you come downstairs and audition?" And I'm like, okay, I guess so. So I went downstairs, I walked in, and they had a piece of music on a music stand, but it was blank. And they said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over. You have 1 minute to look at it, and then you have to play it, something like that. I don't remember the exact details. They turned it over, and I remember saying, it said ripple. And I said, what's ripple? Apparently it meant you're supposed to play across the drum head for a dynamic thing. I had never heard the term ripple, but anyway, so I did it. I was actually, it ended up being fourth chair, I believe. I can't remember the guy who ended up first, but he was really, really strong at concert band related stuff. My strong suit at the time was probably more drum set and marching. Great drum set player though, named Steve Johns, was part of it too. So anyway, I had been so bitten by this drum corps bug, and watching the McDonald's bands in the previous years, they had their drums tilted and it was very old school. I took all these angle reduction bars with me and put them on the drums. Said, hey, put this on your drum, you know. So we had them flat, and we had brand new drums we opened out of the box. I think they were Premier. I tuned mine up. I had one of the ratchet drum keys back in the day, and Paul Lavelle, I remember, we're in this big ballroom in the basement of this hotel, and they had, you know, the whole band. He went through and tuned everybody. He said, let's tune the percussion, and we went through and he had everybody play a snare, and I remember playing my snare, and he goes, everybody tune yours like that one. So I kind of took over a little bit on the marching side of it, and the drum major, who was from UCLA, I think was a percussionist as well. He and I kind of got together and came up with some ideas for cadence and everything. It worked out really well. But anyway, I remember there was drummers from Wisconsin, Alaska. I can't remember the other places. It seemed like the guy from Wisconsin was a great timpanist, and everybody kind of had their specialties and whatnot. But it was really an amazing experience to be thrown in this major pond with these unbelievable musicians, and very intimidating in a lot of ways. And of course, when you see the McDonald's All-American Band, you see them march the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which we practice, and actually we practice that very little compared to the biggest thing you do there is you do a concert at Carnegie Hall. So you prepare this hour-plus long performance to play at Carnegie Hall. That's where the majority of time is spent. And then, of course, they took you around touring and doing all kinds of great things. And contrary to popular belief, I think we ate McDonald's maybe once on that entire trip, maybe twice. They always had great catered food at the hotel and stuff like that. In the New York part of the trip, the actual day of the parade, it was very cold. It actually started snowing and sleeting. And I can remember as we're marching, you know, all the skyscrapers and stuff, and when you hit a cross street, you could see the snow and wind blowing across, and you'd freeze for a second, and then you get past that and it would be all right, you know. If you ever dropped a drumstick, it was gone. Somebody was going to grab it and run with it and stuff like that. Different experience from New York to California, and they definitely want to hear the band play. Fly again. So very unique experience, great time, made some great people, and obviously something I'll never forget the rest of my life. And then flew home, and the next experience was to go to Los Angeles for the Tournament of Roses parade. So that was, it seemed like you left the day after Christmas or something like that, and then you were there for a week or so. So we go to LA, very chilly in the mornings during that parade, and that is more of a, I guess I would say, you don't do a big concert there, although you do a lot of performances. So we went to Knott's Berry Farm, Disney, march a parade, play a concert, standing still, play some pieces and stuff like that. Very long parade. The very first thing you do on the Tournament of Roses parade, you're on TV right away, and then you just march. Macy's, it ends on TV. That's the last thing you do. Tournament of Roses is definitely a longer parade, but great experience on every end. Some of those people I'm still friends with on Facebook, and I've been watching careers of some of them because they're still musicians and stuff like that. So anyway, something I'd always wanted to do my entire life. I'm very fortunate to have been able to do it, thanks to Joe Sills for nominating me. And I think he might have even told me the following year when I was a senior, we were at the Contest of Champions, and he had been had left Murray by then and was just there at that contest, and he didn't know I had made it. So I told him that. And, I think he might have even sent an additional recommendation to make sure that I got it. I don't know, but I was the first person from Murray to ever go, and then one of my best friends, who was an excellent musician to this day, went the next year. He was a French hornist, Kent Eversmeyer. So for 2 years in a row, we had somebody from that tiny school. So great experience. The most unique thing about it, of course, obviously you get to see New York. We did a boat tour around Manhattan Island at night. You get to go see a lot of different things. But what was kind of strange about it seems to me like it was about 3 in the morning. We had to get dressed in uniforms and go and perform our routine in front of Macy's. And they put this big mat down and paint the street or do whatever. And then that's right in front of Macy's. Once you pass that, you turn right, and it seems like Madison Square Garden was like right there. You're done after that. But you have to go and perform it so the TV crew can get an idea of what you're doing and kind of get a clue on how long it takes, what shots they want to make and everything. After that, we went to a McDonald's that was at a townhouse in New York, and half the people were sleeping, and we ate, and then of course you did the parade. So it was a great experience, unbelievable. I'm happy it got to happen. The one other thing that's kind of strange about Macy's, because you perform at the end, the block beforehand is called the dead zone. And so we get there and you have to stop. And there's a lot of people, I don't know why they go there. They stand in the dead zone yelling at you to play, but you're not allowed to play. And that's what they're doing all the staging for the actual parade. So, you know, if there's a commercial break, they actually stop and they do things. And then, okay, get in your place, move up, go. You start your cadence, you go forward, you play, you do your formations, you turn the corner, you march for all of like half a block, you're done. But that dead area, people would scream, come on, play, 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 and we're not allowed to play. But also it was kind of neat that people would run out to the street and they'd see your sticker on your head. You're Kentucky. Hey, I'm from Kentucky. What part of Kentucky are you from? Oh, cops. And they'd run, you know, because they're not supposed to be in the street. So New York was very engaging in that way. A lot of people would yell your state or something like that. California, the barriers were much more strict and people didn't really get in the streets and stuff like that. But anyway, it was a great experience. I'll never forget it. There's a group on Facebook right now, McDonald's All-American Band Alumni. I believe they finally stopped doing the McDonald's All-American Band, which is a shame because it's a great opportunity for people. And not everybody gets to say they're an All-American, but I actually got to say that. So again, to everybody who was a part of the process and helped along the way, I really appreciate it. It was something I'll never forget. Through that, I got to march Macy's. I got to march the Tournament of Roses. And my high school band, Murray High School, had actually marched the Orange Bowl as well. So I marched what I considered the big three parades. So, and again, like I said, we won the national championship 1 year too. So I was fortunate to go through everything at the time that I did because it really helped shape who I am and make me what I am today, because I've never done anything but be a musician. So thanks to everybody. Thanks to McDonald's All-American High School Band. I wish it were still around. Everybody who was part of it, hope to see you at this virtual reunion. And again, Joe Sills, thanks for the nomination. Thanks.